As athletes come to many crossroads, that was the biggest one I would say that changed my life.
Meet Keesa K, founder of Hoop Queens and the force behind Canada's first paid women's basketball league. A former varsity athlete turned builder of opportunity, she's creating real pathways, mentorship, and space for women to thrive on and off the court. But the story really starts with the moment everything in her life changed.
I think the second last home game of the season, I tore my ACL. And I had to decide, okay, am I going to continue playing basketball for my last year?
Yeah.
Or am I just going to go to Nipissing and just go to school? Shane James from Canada Elite called me and said, I need you to coach. I said, absolutely not. At that time, I was like, nah, it's not going to be me.
Not enough money?
Actually, they said, there's no money in women's basketball. And then they said, we really need you. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. I started to realize, me just being a coach and being a big sis, these little girls really looked up to me. And that kind of put a battery in my back of okay, how many other young girls need, a big sis? That's kind of how Hoop Queen started. I really want young women to just literally be the queen that is inside them.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of You Only Die Twice. I am your host, Warren Ward, and in this episode we are joined by none other than the Hoop Queen herself, Keesa K. Hoop Queens is Canada's first ever professional women's basketball league for women, by women, run by women, all things women. And in this episode we are going to discuss Keesa's journey through mentorship, entrepreneurship, where she wants to take Hoop Queens and the injury that changed everything. But before we get started, the best way to support this podcast is to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, share with a friend. Without further ado, let's get into it.
When this is gone, I die.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Warren.
Of course. Yeah.
Finally,
Yeah,
Finally.
I know. It's well overdue. We talked about this since we started.
Yeah.
There's a lot I want to cover.
Yeah.
First thing I like to do is I like to talk about why we're doing this. I think it's important to go ahead and address that. So not only is this something that is personal to me, I've experienced it, but I'm just fascinated with how people go from one thing to the other and how they're able to, whether that's through, some sort of failure or through success. Yeah. And there's a lot of podcasts that talk about a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
your podcast is great.
Thank you. So I wanted to create a niche topic, something that is true to me. Yeah. And we're having people on here that have true stories and have gone through things to get to somewhere else. And there's within that, I think there's a lot that people can learn from. And that's why I've been able to do this, and that's why everyone in here cares about that as well. So my first question to you is, why is the topic important to you? I know you've seen it.
Yeah,
so.
Of course. I think the important piece of the universe, we talked about it off camera before of your personality or character or your vision of where you're going in life after you play basketball, it dies. It literally, your personality, your character, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know yourself after sport. And then you kind of have to build yourself back up. And I feel like it's perfect timing because a lot of these conversations are starting to happen, I think, not publicly. And I'm so glad that you're doing it because people can relate and prepare themselves for, that post-secondary or, after pro journey of WTF, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Or where am I going? And I'm glad that you have this platform or created this platform for those conversations to happen because a lot of times it just stays in the group chat or it's a one-on-one therapy session. And it's a important conversation to have nationally, globally, because there's athletes all over the world that are going through it. So proud of you for starting.
Well, thank you. And not just athletes. I think just people in general.
People, yeah.
I was reading a stat that talked about the average millennial will have 6 different careers in their lifetime. So in their working years of 6 different separate careers, not pertaining to one another. I find that interesting. So how do you go from one thing to the other? And within that, there's going to be some, there's going to be some lost times. There's going to be, as you put it, a little WTF for sure in there. One of the things I get to do is I get to research. So the other day I had a whole bunch of tabs up, and I'm researching you and I'm looking at videos and all the interviews and all the things you've done. And one of the videos specifically, you were saying it was you said you heard a pop in your knee, which I want to know about.
Yep.
And then there was a bunch of like explicits, so the camera, nothing was said. It was just a bunch of curse words, and then the story continued. So take me back to what happened with your knee.
So first of all, I want to kind of like go back to like when I got a scholarship, going out east. Going to a school that doesn't align with your values, and
Where'd you go to school?
Bouncing. Holland College, it's Googleable. But
Okay.
Holland College. I went to out east in PEI, and then I switched to Crandall University.
Where's that?
That was a Christian university in New Brunswick.
Okay.
And I loved the basketball there. Just the school side was a little bit too like the vibes were just weird.
Okay.
We stopped eating dinner at like 5 o'clock. I was like, what's going on? I'm an athlete. But there's a lot of things that like happened throughout like that transition before my knee happened. So that's why it's kind of like important to put that context of me just kind of bouncing around school to school. And I think a lot of athletes do that, right? To find
all
the right
for basketball.
fit. Yes.
And basketball was the main focal point.
Yes,
okay.
exactly. I didn't care about school or
right.
It was just like what was the right fit for me for basketball, and that's all I cared about. And then so after that New Brunswick experience, I kind of took a year back, and I was like, okay, like I have at least 3 more years to kind of figure out what I'm doing after university. And I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to go pro. I don't think I'm going to go to the WNBA. Like there was no kind of passion for that. So I really wanted to take school seriously. And the next move that I did, I went to Nipissing University. Okay. So I took a year off, kind of just settled, made some money during the summer. And then I found a coach and a school that aligned with me. And had an amazing time. Nipissing wasn't the best in terms of basketball because we didn't win any games.
Right.
I'm sure you Googled that. But
you said it, not me. I was going to leave that part out, but you wanted to expose yourself.
No, of course. I mean, people can Google it. But the Nipissing, the basketball wasn't as great as like my school experience and the people experience that I had there. So I decided to spend the next 3 years there and just build my career up in terms of just like my network and kind of like what I wanted to do after school. So I finished there, and before I graduated, my third year, it was like the second last home game of the season, I tore my ACL. And
what were you studying?
That was business admin.
Okay.
So business admin and finance. My focus was in finance.
Okay.
And entrepreneur finance. So
okay.
I never wanted to be an entrepreneur though. I wanted to help entrepreneurs.
Interesting.
That was like my goal. I was like, ooh, I think I got some sauce that I can help people with.
Why?
I think growing up, I just knew I always had, this, selfishly, and just, I don't want to toot my own horn.
No, toot it up.
I feel like I have an energy and aura, and whatever group or wherever I am at, I add to. Like I have, lots of skills, computer skills, I have finance skills, I have graphic design. That's what I wanted to be when I was like really young. Wanted to be a model, so I know like marketing and all. Like I had a little bit of everything when it came to business. So I knew whatever business, I was a part of, I can add to. And I wanted to work for Nike, and I was like, I want to create shoes and things like that. But then as I got older, I realized, okay, maybe Nike's pretty hard to get into. So maybe I can just help small businesses be better.
Right.
So that's kind of where that decision went to. I finished school, sorry, what was your question about?
you tore your ACL.
Oh, I tore my ACL, yeah. So second last home game of the season, I tore my ACL. And I came to another crossroads. Like, as athletes come to many crossroads, that was the biggest one, I would say, that changed kind of like my life. Mm-hmm. Came to that crossroads, and I had to decide, okay, am I going to continue playing basketball for my last year?
Yeah.
Or am I just going to go to Nipissing and just go to school? And, as athletes, we just don't want to just go to school. We want to play basketball as well. The physiotherapist there was like, hey, if you do the surgery, you're going to basically miss half of your year, and you're going to have to only play the other half, like the second half of the season. Didn't want to do that. So I thugged it out, and I played on a torn ACL, and I still have a torn ACL.
So you had no surgery?
No surgery.
You played with a torn ACL?
Yeah.
With a brace?
Yeah, with a brace.
How did it happen?
No one was near me, and just went up.
Non-contact?
Yeah, non-contact. Yeah, went up, came down, and I heard it. And I just knew right away. I was like, I've never been injured.
Hyperextension, shifting? How did it?
When I landed, it was left, right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I knew right away. It wasn't even that painful. It was more so the thought of like, wow, okay, my basketball career is done.
Immediately you thought that?
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I was like, this is over. This dream's over. And then when the adrenaline came down, that's when the pain started.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I find it interesting what you said, because I think this is something that happened to me, and I think a lot of people. But you said like Nike, modeling, business. You're like, you didn't really have a plan per se.
Not at all.
Right? And I think there's two schools of thought. You know, I think some people could look at what we're doing now and be like, well, if you had a plan, there'd be no, like your transition wouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And if you had one, if you didn't, then maybe you'll be in, our shoes per se, but
we'll have
yeah, right. But I don't, obviously I'm to the latter. I don't think that's how it works, but not having a plan, was that your plan? I'll figure it out. Like, I know I have enough in me that I'll be able to figure out whatever happens next. I got it.
I think as athletes, we subconsciously grow that mentality that we'll
figure it out. To.
Yeah, like I mean, when you're on the court and you get trapped or something happens, a play's happening and it unfolds and it doesn't happen how it's supposed to happen. Like you gotta be able to think on the spot and what's the next play. Right. So I think subconsciously as athletes, we grow that mindset and we take it into the real world subconsciously.
So ACL happens. You're like, right away, basketball is done.
Yeah.
How did your relationship with basketball change in that moment? Like, were you just at school happy to be a student, or were you like?
Yeah, great question. I think that summer was the most memorable summer because there was lots of tears, lots of two-a-days, lots of weight training, things that I had to really stick to. It wasn't like a weight training plan that. You could just like, okay, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll ship the core stuff to, next week or whatever. Like I had to stick to that plan so that I could play for September, and I was strong enough to play for September. I didn't want to obviously injure my other knee, or
with
injure
no surgery.
Exactly, with no surgery. And I think thank you so much to Mackenzie from Nipissing. I'm pretty sure she still works there, but she created a plan for me to be able to be strong enough to play those games on unrestricted minutes before unrestricted minutes actually meant something. But yeah, she created a training plan for me. I was really, really disciplined that summer, and I stuck to the plan. And I started to really plan for my future that summer. Okay. Learning how to walk again, learning how to run again, learning how to do the basic skills was super scary. And I think in hindsight now, looking back, it's like that summer really taught me, it could get things could get taken away like this, and you have to be appreciative of life and your skills and your body and your health. Yeah. That a lot of things that we take for granted that we don't notice, can get taken away. So.
Besides Mackenzie, did you feel lonely in that time? Like, who helped you through all that?
God.
Okay.
God. I think my journey with Christ and my religion, like my relationship with God, has always kind of been up and down since, obviously when we're young, you have to get dragged to church with your parents. Yeah, for sure. But university, I went to Crandall University, which is a Christian university. I wanted to get, step back into my faith and build that relationship up. And once I transferred to Nipissing, my journey with my relationship with God was okay. But I think in that summer that I tore my ACL, it definitely got a lot stronger. So now I have this foundation where I built, God has got me back on the court and, got me through the training and built my strength back up, because without him, I wouldn't have the mentality or the motivation to keep going. So
basketball's out of the picture.
Yeah.
You complete school.
Yeah.
Then what?
Oh gosh. Then I honestly so I graduated 2019. It was a terrible time. I would say, mentally, emotionally, physically, I just didn't know what to do, where to go. I wanted to travel, didn't have any money. Yeah, bro. I didn't want to pick up another basketball for a long time. I was like, basketball is done, I'm out of here.
Yeah, you didn't want to play at all.
Yeah, I didn't want to play at all. I was like,
did you resent the game a bit?
Yeah, because it was like, you got me through all of these. We went through all of these things and trials and tribulations, and then it's just done. It was just such a weird feeling. It was like there was no obviously we didn't win a championship
Right.
or a game for that matter. But I didn't come out with, I think, what I
went into it with.
Yeah.
You didn't feel fulfilled.
Yeah. It was such a weird feeling. And then I didn't want to pick up a basketball for a long time. I didn't want to work out for a long time. I was very, very like anti anything discipline. So I was eating, I was traveling, I was doing all the things that, I thought.
With no money, traveling with no money.
With no money, with no money.
I feel you.
On my mom's dime.
Yeah.
And then, I got a job. I was in accounting.
Okay. Did you like that?
It was cool.
So you did?
Learned a lot.
Okay.
Shout out to my ex-boss.
Okay.
But no, he was really cool. He was a small business owner, and he was great. Like, he taught me a lot. Like, in hindsight now, I'm like, wow, like being a part of that job really taught me how I can be a great entrepreneur, a great, owner of a business, and like how he like created his own business and like blew it up. It was mind blowing to me. And
so what'd you learn exactly?
Being able to manage a team of 20, and his team was growing. He was a cool boss. Like, I always thought like being a CEO or being a boss was like, you had to be strict, you had to be stern. Like, he wore Adidas tracksuit down to every meeting. And so it was accounting. So it's accounting for law. And that was the business name. And they did bookkeeping for lawyers.
Okay.
So I was a bookkeeper, and then I had my clients, I did bookkeeping, and I learned in that time like how lawyers did finance.
Right.
So fast forward now to Hoop Queens. Now I'm learning how to kind of keep my own books, how to do things, how to register my things, just how to talk to CRA and things like that.
And run a business.
Yeah, and run a business. So back then I was like, oh gosh, dragging my feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything is a learning. Everything is a learning to like what I'm doing now. But yeah, 2019, graduated university, didn't want to pick up a basketball. Shane James and Jamino from Canada Elite called me and said, I need you to coach. I said, absolutely not. I'm not
Why
coaching.
not?
I just thought in my head growing up, we didn't have like female basketball coaches. Like, we didn't have coaches that were women. And I thought,
so your upbringing was all men who coached you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like when I was younger, and I didn't see young women coaching, like coming back to coach.
So then why didn't you want to be the first?
At that time, I was like, nah, it's not gonna be me.
Not enough money?
No. I was just like, well, that too. Like they did say that. They're like, they said like there's no money in women's basketball. Like a lot of people were telling me that there's no money in women's basketball, and I was like, okay, whatever, cool. But yeah, I was like, I don't want to be a mentor. I don't want to be a coach. That's not what I'm looking to do right now.
Isn't that ironic? You're all those things now?
Tell me about it, boy. Tell me about it. But they asked me to be a coach, and I said no a couple times, and then they said, we really need you. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it.
So you're working full-time and coaching?
Yes.
Okay.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I should have done this earlier in life.
What'd you love about it?
Being a big sis. I always thought being a coach was, you had to be, this, strict mom or the strict
Same thing as a CEO. Leadership equals strict.
Yeah, like I always just thought like you had to be the strict person. You had to talk a certain way. You had to dress a certain way to be a coach or a mentor. And I was not that. I was a hot young girl out of university, and I wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to be an example or whatever it was at the time. And I started to realize like me just being a coach and being a big sis, like these little girls really looked up to me. And that kind of put a battery in my back of like, okay, how many other young girls need, a big sis? And I started to, do some digging, and I was like, there's, as you look at the women's basketball, scene, there's not a lot of young women or women in general making decisions for women. And that's kind of when I got the idea of Hoop Queens. It wasn't Hoop Queens at the time, but it was just a thought of like, how can I get more young Black girls, at least, or young women, to coach, and to be a part of this, ecosystem. You don't have to be exactly a coach, but just come around the girls and mentor them and talk to them about, relationships, boys. And these are grade 9, grade 10 girls, that are lost, that, you know, and when we were in high school, we didn't have that. So we always had, you know, men coaches. So really wanted to just gather some of the girls that I went to school with or I knew that wanted to kind of give back. And that's kind of how Hoop Queen started, literally, in Scarborough Playground. Got a couple of my girls that I graduated with and knew that same time they were graduating. And I said, let's do young girls versus old girls. And that's literally...
That was the first game.
That was literally how the first pickup game started. Some of the girls that I played Yace, they were in town from graduating D1, and I wanted to teach the young girls that I was mentoring and coaching at the time how to really play basketball, because I was like, you guys think you know basketball?
Yeah.
Let's show you, you know, how to play the game. And
Isn't it
you know,
funny how every generation thinks that they know better than the last on how to play basketball?
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. But
that's interesting how you've came back to basketball, even though you wanted to shun it away. And I'm honestly same. Like I didn't want to coach. Definitely didn't want to coach. I didn't want to deal with anybody like me, so I didn't want to coach. The thing that came my way was, you know, me being broadcasting and being in that, and that was how I got to stay involved in basketball. So it's just ironic how the thing that you wanted to get rid of and go into another, you know, into the business world, you came back to it.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think I would be a part of this basketball world at all. I thought I was going to be, you know, helping entrepreneurs or working for Nike or, you know, just making money, because we didn't make money when we were student athletes. So, but I'm just so proud. Like every day that I wake up, I'm like, I can't believe I'm this person that, you know, has women's basketball, at the forefront of my life.
Well, why was it so important for you to start that and do that? Like, why do you feel the need to do it, and not only start it but see it through? Because there's a lot of people who start things. Yeah, it's hard, really tough to continue to do it and have the same vigor for it. So why was it important for you to start and then, you know, continue?
I think it's important for me to start and just continue, because there's days where I don't want to continue. Of course. But I do remember, you know, the next generation and the junior hoop queens, and there's girls like me that needed me when I was younger. Like I really wanted to be, I really want to be that person that, you know, I needed when I was younger. And I think that's what keeps me going.
Well, what did you need when you were younger?
I needed somebody who just understood the journey as a woman.
As like a student athlete.
Yeah, as a woman, you know, balancing relationships, balancing school, balancing... Talking
about boys.
Yeah, you know, being able to, like, do that stuff. I mean, I was first one to ever publicly say it. This is the podcast that I'll say it on. I was a emotionally abusive relationship when I was in university. And that, I feel like that was, like, kind of, like, one of my crossroads or one of my pivotal points in my journey where I feel like I needed somebody to be a part, like help me through that. Like, how do you be a woman? How do you be an athlete through all of that stuff that you're going through? And I think I needed somebody to be that light, you know? And I think the young girls now that I look at them and I see myself in them, and of like, you want to be a basketball player, but you also want to, you know, date, and you also want to, you know, be a good kid, you know, be a good kid to your parent, and, you know, get the scholarships and make your mom proud or make your parents proud. So I think with that, I think, I just wanted to, that's kind of like how Hoop Queen started, and what kind of keeps the battery in my back going, because I know young girls need that mentorship. So, yeah.
And that's why you keep going.
That's why I keep going.
You see yourself in them.
Yeah. All of them. No matter what race there are, I know that they're going to go through something or about to, and I want to prepare them for life. You know, even me, like right now, like as a CEO, I want to prepare young girls if they want to start, you know, their own league or their own business. Like I want to be able to be that big sister for them, because I didn't have that person that was, you know, a CEO or an entrepreneur to kind of help me. I'm figuring it out as I go.
Well, I'll say two things. Yeah. The CEO, that's a title. Hoop Queens is successful because of you. Yep. The title can be anybody. Yeah, literally. Second thing I have to say is, you don't have to answer this, by the way. Yeah. When you say you're in an emotionally abusive relationship, how did that affect Keesa?
I think at the time I obviously didn't really like know how to deal with that stuff.
Right. Wow. How'd you come out of it?
I literally left New Brunswick. I literally got on, like, I booked my ticket to come back to Toronto. I was like, what am I doing? I think I got lost in the sauce. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. caught up in like, trying to
love
love and stuff like that. So I got lost in the sauce, booked a ticket back to Toronto, dyed my hair.
Okay.
And was like, all right, let's go.
Did you ever feel pressure to try and, because you're young and you're trying to figure all that out?
Yeah. How old was I? I was like, I think I was 19 at
Mm-hmm.
the time. Boy. But yeah, and I came back to Toronto and I was like, hey, I feel like myself again. I got to get, my money up. I got to figure out what school I'm going to next. And I reshifted my focus. But yeah, I felt like that emotional abusive relationship was a pivotal point in like who I am today, and like I went to therapy and I did that, that healing, and it still continues to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But I really want young women to just literally be the queen that is inside them. So that's why I kind of named Hoop Queens. And yeah, I want them to know that like we are the SHIT. We are that girl, we are the best. We are the best humans on earth.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I love,
Right.
Love you, Warren. But women get it done. Women get it done. We have a energy and an aura about us that is undeniable, and I want women to see that.
I'm on
in
your
themselves.
team. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm not
Appreciate
on the
you.
men's side at all. I'm with the women. One of the things that I really admire about you, and I think this is one of the things that, like, for me personally, especially this year, I'm going to have to do even more of.
Thanks.
Yeah.
What do you admire?
Time management.
Oh wow.
Because, like,
A little bit.
yeah. Well, obviously, I don't know how you manage all your time, but outside looking in, which is all we get, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most people's lives are like trailers. All we
Yeah.
see is the best parts, right?
Yep.
And all trailers are what? All trailers are good.
Yep.
So obviously, I don't know everything about how you manage your time, but outside looking in, you get shit done. So that means you're doing something right.
Yes.
And you have a full-time job.
Full-time job.
And you're running Hoop Queens.
And I'm running hoop.
So
Thanks to my team.
But even that, having a team of
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
How did that formulate? How were you able to keep everybody involved and engaged? What's your leadership style, and how do you have a full-time business and do that at the same time?
Okay, I'll answer that question first. So having a full-time job, and also running Hoop Queens, and being this leader and being the CEO of Hoop Queens, it's hard. It's everyone talks about work-life balance and creating a balance. It's really just
That
time
doesn't exist.
management. It
Yeah.
literally does not exist. It's just time management and knowing what the end goal is, and even if it's not like the end goal, it's just like what the milestone that we're trying to hit, whether it's a month, whether it's a week, whether it's the day. Like sometimes I realize now, like, it's my one goal is just to make up my bed sometimes, or my goal is to make sure I get these 3 calls out of the way. Before I used to write down my list of things to do every single day, and I got that obviously from basketball, but turning that skill into a life skill now of like making sure that everything is out my head and on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Still working on the calendarization of things.
Mm-hmm.
But time management is such an important life skill. Like, I think it fell off for me, after I, graduated. But I realized when I started Hoop Queens, waking up at 4 a.m. to apply for grants and research things and, create program plans and things like that, wasn't sustainable. Like, I used to wake up from 5 really to do stuff, 5 to 7,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to work from 8 or 9, travel to work 9 o'clock to 5, and then come home, eat, and then go right back to Hoop Queens from 6 to 8, and then chill out. But I feel like that wasn't sustainable. Hoop Queens gradually, got some momentum and got some success, and I started to realize I'm burning out. Last summer it was a burnout. I really realized I need to draw back on some things that personally that I'm taking part of, or even Hoop Queens is taking part of. We can't do everything, or we can't be this for everybody, and we need to figure out what's our goal, and we need to stick to that, because sometimes we want to help this person, we want to help and do this and be there, and sometimes we just have to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Sundays right now, I have nothing scheduled for the rest of the year, because that is my day to reset for the entire week. If I don't have my Sundays, my week is messed up. So I think I answered your question just around time management.
Yeah.
And what was the second part of the question again? A team? Building a team?
Building a team. And I was going to ask, what skills have you taken from basketball to apply to that?
Oh, God, so many. And they're not great. I definitely need to still work on my time management, but
You and everybody else.
right?
Don't worry.
But I think I learned so many skills from basketball. A big thing is communication for me, being on the court and then also being, off the court. You're taking that communication and you're just redirecting it. Whether you're the captain or whether you're just, a role player, you have to be able to communicate. And I think I take that into my team and building my team and being able to communicate. And I tell everybody that's a part of the Hoop Queens team, whether it's for the summer or for the year, let's communicate, over communicate if we have to. Like, I know there's lots of group chats. Everyone hates this. Everyone's going to laugh at it. But I start group chats like there's no tomorrow. I have like 30 group chats in my phone because I want to be able to loop everybody in and make sure everybody is in the know. Because if somebody says that, they didn't know or they didn't read or they didn't see it, that's on you.
Yeah.
And I think accountability as well is a big part of, being a leader. I think accountability looks different in basketball, but accountability, communication, being a good teammate too. Like, people think, okay, yeah, you're the CEO. You're not supposed to be a part of this. You're not supposed to be doing that. You're not supposed to be handing out shirts. I'm like, I want to be a part of the groundwork too. Like, I understand that, I'm the CEO, but I also want to be coaching at Junior Hoop Queens, So I think that's kind of what I'm struggling with right now, but I really want to be a part of the work as I build. But everyone's like, no, you got to do this. You got to sit on the side. But yeah, just being a good teammate. I'm hoping everyone can say that I was any team that I've been a part of that I was a good teammate and I gave energy and I always knew my role. I wasn't the person who was scoring 30 every night. I knew what I was good at, defense and being a good teammate. I think those are the two things that I was really strong in. And
those are skills.
Yeah. And those are skills that I knew, like that was my role on the team, on every team that I was a part of. And I think now building this team, being able to assign people and mentor them through like what their skills and what they're good at, and being able to bring that out of them, and then identifying things that they need to work on as well is so important for me, because then they get the opportunity to grow. They're not just working for me or working a part of this team, So yeah, I think I answered your question, but yeah, there's a lot of things that I learned. And I think basketball is just a parallel to life, like. Literally, you shoot the amount of shots that you take is literally like the amount of opportunities that are going to be given to you if you don't go after and get it. If you don't shoot the ball, you're not gonna make the ball. Like if you don't go out and ask for opportunity, if you don't go and ask somebody for a number or hey, can I be a part of this, or an invite to nobody's gonna know that you want to be a part of it. Closed mouths don't get fed. Like, yeah. I don't know if I answered your question.
You did.
Okay,
you did.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully, we can cut that up.
No, you're good. For those who don't know, what is your full-time job?
My full-time job. Are you putting me on the spot? So I am account manager at MLSE Foundation.
Okay.
And I've been there for 2.5 years.
And why did you choose to do that while doing Hoop Queens as well?
For me, started 2 years ago. Hoop Queens, after I believe it was the first year.
2020.
No, so I started Hoop Queens in 2020.
Okay.
But I started at MLSE in 2022.
Right.
Or 2023. 2023 January. So that was we got our first year off the ground for the Hoop Queens Pro League. And after that, I was like, I really want to learn the business side of basketball. So after season 1, kind of took some time. I actually quit my accounting job and I took a 6 to 8 months off, and I was figuring out, where Hoop Queens was going to go. Didn't have like a real exact plan. I just wanted to do this league and I wanted to pay women. That was the number one thing. That was the number one thing. And I really wanted to figure out how basketball actually works on the business side. So obviously who's the best, in town, obviously the Raptors. So applied for a job. I got it. I landed it. And it was in partnership. So I was a manager of corporate partnerships at the time. They restructured things now, but manager of corporate partnerships at the time. And I learned so much under, my director and my managing director, Lisa. Everyone at that team, the foundation team is amazing. And I'm learning so much just around leadership, just around the business side of sports, and philanthropy as well. So just learning a lot. And I'm glad that they gave me that opportunity to learn and be a part of it. The
reason why I ask is because I'm of the same notion.
Yeah.
I have a corporate job as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like having something that you're passionate about and something that not only pays your bills, but you can learn a lot of things and from. It's good. But there's another school of thought that suggests that if you have a passion and you really want to get into it, you got to put, just like sports, you got to give it everything. So do you ever feel conflicted about what you're doing corporately? And instead of saying, well, all that out, like I'm spending 8 hours a day working for a massive company, when I could put that time into Hoop Queens and make Hoop Queens even bigger. Maybe we could be, by this time, I could be in the United States or in Europe or other countries where they need, another, league for women.
Yeah. I'm going to throw it to God because I think a lot of times we try to control our narrative and our timing. And I think God is in control of all of that. And I think for me right now is the best time for me to learn. And I definitely want to grow, and I definitely want to grow Hoop Queens and grow the team and, do all the things. But I think right now, as I'm a part of this amazing team at MLSE, I'm also learning so much. And I know that the timing right now is just not right for me to let go. And, they're working on a huge project, and I want to be a part of it. I want to make sure that I make good and I, support the people who supported me when I needed all the education and things that I've learned there. I want to be able to make those relationships and keep those relationships because they've taught me so much. And I don't want to, just cut ties just because selfishly, Hoop Queens, it's time to grow. You know what I'm saying? I think right now Hoop Queens is at a good point where, because we have a team and because we have so many great, intelligent minds a part of my team, they're amazing. Like my team is so great. They're literally I haven't really trained them, but they're great. Like they can take their own meetings. They know my standard. They know my mentality when it comes to meetings, setting agendas, putting out decks and things like that. And it is a lot of time and work to work around my MLSE schedule, but they understand that, one, my bills need to be paid. Two, I'm learning a lot, and I'm learning a lot from MLSE, and I'm taking it into Hoop Queens, whether it's putting up structure or systems in Hoop Queens as the team grows. But my team is really, really holding me down right now. So,
if I don't know anything about Hoop Queens, and I'm watching this, what is it?
So much. Okay, Hoop Queens is Canada's first professional women's basketball league. We are revolutionizing women's basketball in Canada and around the world. We really want to create opportunities for women to get paid and just build life skills on and off the court.
Well said. You said,
PR.
You said that this is what was missing in Canadian basketball landscape.
Yeah.
You said that in one of your interviews.
Yeah.
So how are you filling the gap?
I think right now we are definitely filling the gap for university players who graduate, whether it's in America or Canada. They have an opportunity to play and continue their sport journey at, obviously the pro league level. And then we have our junior Hoop Queens. I think right now we're at a weird point in basketball. I don't know how we got here, but everyone is elite. And everyone is elite.
You think that's just in sports? I think that's just in life across the board, where everyone's elite in everything.
Literally. Everyone is elite, and there's no development or opportunity to, get introduced to basketball first and then become on, a rep team or a competitive league. So I think with Junior Hoop Queens, we've created an environment where girls can just learn the lines of the court. You know, what a travel is, what a double dribble is. You know, those smaller things, those fundamental skills that you need to take into competition. I think that's the gap that really needs to be filled right now in women's basketball and in basketball in general. There's no house leagues anymore. I mean, back in the day when I started pretty late, but I started in Mamba Basketball League. Like, that was the house league that was in the summer, and I'm so thankful of that because I learned the fundamental skills there, and then I got onto Yace, you know. So yeah, I think we're filling the gaps. I think everyone's got the high school covered. Everyone's got the rep teams and the AU and the
all the pro-ams and all that.
Pro-ams and what is it called? Prep.
Yes.
Prep school. Woo!
Yeah.
Everyone has got that down pat. Prep school and AU, everyone's got that. I think for Hoop Queens, we are literally the only one creating opportunities for university basketball players after. And then for the Junior Hoop Queens, we are the only cost-free house league for girls-only programming. So, yeah, thank you. Thanks.
So started in 2020, 5 years later, taking you're packaging all your skills from MLSC, from accounting, from wanting to do modeling, this, that, all these other things.
Yeah.
5 years later, what have you learned?
Oh, so many things. I have learned that staying authentic and being genuine with everything that I do will get me far. I think there came a point of time where once I started Hoop Queens, like, I thought that I was supposed to be this person, just like I thought I was supposed to be, you know, you got to be old to be a coach. You got to be old to be a mentor. You know, I started Hoop Queens in 2020, and in 2021, I kind of seen all the hype around it, and I was like, whoa, I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to be a person
really?
who's on. Yeah, I've always been like a private person. I didn't want to be on podcasts. I didn't want to do interviews. I just wanted to do literally, I didn't want to do any of that. I just wanted to do the work.
Okay.
But I realized, the more people hear my story, the more people hear what Hoop Queens is about, who's behind Hoop Queens, the more support that we'll get. And I have to kind of, pull my big girl pants on and do that and live in it and lean into the things that people want to know. People want to get to know me. People always meet me and are like, oh, you're so cool. You're so good. I didn't think you were this, down to earth. I'm like, what do you guys think online that I'm this like big shot that I'm not going to talk to you? It's weird. But I think it's for me, I've grown to learn that people want to learn about how I did it, why I did it, and what I'm doing in the future. So I think, yeah, I've learned just being myself and being able to build this thing without not knowing, like, 2050's goal. I don't know what it's going to turn into, but I know the direction that I want to go in. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's okay, and that's okay. And I think a lot of people think, when you start a business or when you start something, you have to know what's the end goal. You don't. When I started Hoop Queens, I didn't have a business plan. Like, I was like, girls, we're just going to do 5-on-5, pick up basketball. We'll figure it out. So I think, and learning as I go, now I have to, have these systems in place and structures and business plans and investment decks and things like that. And I'm learning as I'm going, but being able to be prepared for the next step or a next couple of steps,
If you were going to talk to one of the girls on Hoop Queens and say, if they were to ask you about how to build a business, what would you say? Maybe 3 things that they have to do.
Well, that's a great question. One, the number one thing is find your community.
Yep. Couldn't agree more.
Find your community. Find a problem that you're willing to solve for the rest of your life. It can't just be a one and done. Like, you solved it and then you're out of here. I think you have to be passionate sometimes around, passionate and thoughtful around the things that you do and plan to do. The second thing I would tell somebody is to stay true to your goal. I think sometimes we get, we get the first little win, and then we get very distracted around like noise and success, right? Like the little success that we have, we don't even know how much bigger we can if we just stayed focused on the one thing that we're good at. I think a lot of times, like when I started Hoop Queens, I wanted to do the league right away. I wanted to do more pickup runs. I wanted to do a tournament. I want to do a whole bunch of things. And Antwi, you know, Antwi, I don't know if you know him, but Antwi told me this one thing that always sticks in my mind, like be good at one thing and then start to build. So I think when I started Hoop Queens, it was, all right, let's do the pickup runs really, really well. And then once we got that under our belt, then let's start building another thing. So once we got under the belt, we got the tournament under the belt. And then everyone was like, okay, you did this so well, let's do a league. And that's kind of how the progression has been going. And now, you know, Hoop Queens has been going on for 4 seasons, now going into our 5th next year. Now we're trying to add and, you know, do better than we did last year. That's my first one is, solve a problem. 2, stick to your why. 3, network. Your network is your net worth, baby. Baby, like I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without the people that I've either met on set or met, you know, in a grocery store or, you know, went to school with. My network is so large. Like I don't even know the depths of my network sometimes. I literally, one of my tasks by the end of this year is to write everybody that I know on a spreadsheet.
Good luck.
Because there's people that I think of and I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have, you know, connected with this person, or this person knows this person, or this person has their doctorate or masters in this, you know, psychology or whatever, you know. So I always think about that Rolodex, you know, build your Rolodex as you go, and every room that you walk in, at least connect with one new person. Just one. You know, one challenge for me. And sometimes I'm like, I'm awkward and everyone else thinks they're awkward. So I think just awkward people just meet up, you know?
Everyone be awkward.
Yeah, everyone, let's just be awkward together.
I'm with you.
So I think that's my biggest strength, of like just being able to connect and be outgoing. Sometimes people are afraid of that, and they worry about, you know, what people are going to think of them. And I always tell people, you might not even see this person for the rest of your life.
Well,
okay.
I think that's a human condition, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's more about not thinking less of yourself, but just thinking.
Yes.
It's not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less.
Yes.
And you don't need to even doing this, like putting yourself out there. Gosh. You know, and you've done that. If you look up your name, it's all Hoop Queen, Hoop Queen, Hoop Queen, Hoop Queen. And to say like we don't like the attention it's bringing. Gosh. I mean, maybe you don't, but at the same time, in order for it to grow and in order for it to be what you need it to be, you are what it is. You know, that is, and that's something that, much like an athlete or you know, in your days of basketball, the better you do, the more individual success you get.
Yes.
So how have you remained humble through all of that? And are you okay?
Yes.
Like, are you truly okay with it being about you, even though it isn't? Even though in your mind it isn't, but it is about you.
Yeah. I don't want it to be about me. You know, okay, so the biggest thing is, you know, everyone always asks me, why don't I want to do this, you know, these interviews, these podcasts? Why don't I want to make it
Forbes
about me? I understand that. It's great. Love that.
You did the Forbesy.
I did. That was a goal. That was a big goal. But you know what? It's because I think about, you know, but going back to my ACL, like life can go just like this. And for me, if I am the face of this brand, and if I'm this person that everyone's looking to, when it's my time, what happens? You know, I don't want to be this person where everyone's just leaning on me for direction. And I think I had a very hard time with my social media team. I said, I don't want to be I literally did not want to be the face. I don't want my face on there too much. I always struggle with that, because when my time is, I don't know when my time is, but when my time comes, I want, you know, nobody to just be like, oh, well, Keesa's gone, Hoop Queens is done. I want it to live on past me. So really kind of just figuring out where and how much I want to be, I wouldn't say the face of the brand, because I really don't want to be the face of the brand. I want to bring others in the fold. I think right now it's just timing, just growing the brand, and also just growing my brand. And I think the importance of Keesa K, like, you are literally watching a woman unfold. I am growing, healing in front of everyone's eyes. Because 5 years ago when I started Hoop Queens, boy, you should see my first interview. I think I talked about it on that Museum of Toronto podcast interview with Drew. When I first did my interview, I don't know if you've seen it on Google. Hopefully it's not on there. But I was like stuttering. I'm so nervous. I was literally like sweating my armpits off. Couldn't even answer you what my name was, what Hoop Queens was, what it is, what I want it to be. But now I'm starting to realize, like, you know, the more that I am this leader, or I'm put in the spotlight, I have to create the representation. I have to be the leader. I have to be the CEO and the leader of this thing, because, you know, if I don't do it, who else will? And I think I'm setting hopefully the example and the standard for, you know, the next generation to come and be bold and be confident and encourage themselves to, it's okay to be the face of a brand, or it's okay to be, you know, the voice of the brand at least, and speak your truth. So,
well, you have a reason, right? It's about something bigger than yourself. So,
yeah.
And you've often, I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, you want to change the narrative around, you know, women's basketball. So what is the narrative around women's basketball?
One, there's no money in women's basketball. That was a big thing. I was like, well, why can't we make money in women's basketball?
So how does Hoop Queens make money to pay women?
So a lot of our partnerships, like
Okay.
90% of our women's salary is
All
because of our partnerships.
And how have you formulated those partnerships?
Through our networks, through my networks, through the networks that we've built, through Megan Young. I'm sure you know of her. She literally was the jumpstart for Hoop Queens Professional League, and she took her dad's estate and gave us $20,000 to jumpstart the salaries. And that first year, no one else got paid except for the players. Like the players, I think it was a $60K budget. Sorry, my finance brain, my numbers brain, but it was like a 60 to 70K budget, and only the girls for 5 weeks got paid. Going into, you know, that postseason, I was like, okay, all of these people are helping. All these people are, you know, here dedicated for 8 hours of the day. I want to be able to pay them. I want to be able to pay women for their time, other than the athletes. So, you know, redid a budget, you know, got our Nike partner on board for that second year, you know, and it really helped with our operational budget. So being able to pay women for their time to invest on that Sunday was really, really helpful. And yeah, paying women on and off the court. So
When the narrative is changed,
yeah,
then what?
I think just continuing to build opportunities. I think there's not a lot of women who have opportunities to get into the sports world, or even get jobs. A big part of my journey, at least my experience, was all the great jobs that I've had in the past. I was part of job agencies. I was part of, you know, hey, Nakissa's a great athlete. She's a great student athlete. Hey, can we get her a job somewhere?
Yeah.
You know, like I was just because,
I've been there.
Right? So
Yeah.
you just got to know somebody to get a job sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of young women, it's hard when you the ball stops bouncing to get a job. And the realization of like, okay, maybe it's time for me to hang it up and make some money and create those off the courts, you know, goals of, you know, owning a house and, you know, maybe building a family, or just keeping the money to yourself. That's totally okay too. I think that's the conversation that I really want to have with these girls. And I think I'm with the Hoop Queen Summer League, like with the professional league that we have that off court, workshop with them, and we make sure we have these conversations around, you know, menstrual cycles, you know, financial literacy, any life skills that they want to kind of talk about, or what's next, you know, getting an agent, those type of things, those conversations that, you know, you don't have in university, or you don't have, you know, playing wherever you were playing. I want to be able to just have those conversations and build that sisterhood for some support for your next journey in sport or in life.
At one point when we started, you talked about 2020 or 2019. You were kind of in a low point.
Yeah. 2019. That was low.
You've had a shifted identity through being an athlete, then getting to the business world, an employee, founder, and now you're a leader. How has your personal identity changed through all that?
That's a really great question. I think right now I'm still kind of figuring that out. I just turned 30, Lord Jesus.
Oh, you're old.
30.
Yeah.
30 club. I think I'm still figuring that out. I think I know myself to a point where, I know who Nakissa is and I know who Keesa K is, which sounds a little weird, but I know
Not really.
who I want to present online, and I know who I am in real life. I know what my values are,
Yeah.
where my nervous system feels good around. I know what I like, what I don't like, what makes me feel good, what makes me, not feel good. I know myself as a woman, and I think as I continue to grow, Keesa K will also develop, and that brand, and Hoop Queens will also develop, because I'm also just learning. Life is literally like I don't know everything. I'm healing as I go, learning as I grow. So yeah.
What would this version say to the 2019 Keesa?
Oh,
In one word
in
or a
one
sentence?
word. I can't. I'm a yapper. I cannot do one word. You'll figure it out. You'll figure it out.
That's good.
I feel like
Although I hate that sentence, I
Why?
cannot. Yeah, I hate it. I hate that you'll
Why?
figure it out, because that's what I heard.
You'll
When
figure it out?
Yeah, I heard that. And it's when you're in a tough bind,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you'll figure it out is comforting.
Really?
I understand what you mean.
I guess
though.
it's because I feel like it's going to be like you'll figure it out, because it's like you're giving the person independence to just figure it out themselves.
I felt like that's what people always say when they want to have sympathy for whatever it is you're going through,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't help you. So just be like, oh, don't worry, you'll figure it out. But that's
That's a
good
good
though.
one.
If you would tell your younger self that's okay.
I think I would tell myself. Yeah. Okay. Let me give me some time. Give me some time. What would I tell myself? Yeah, I would. No, honestly, I would. I'm gonna stick to that.
That's
I'm gonna
good.
tell myself you'll figure it out, because I think as a woman and as a young woman who's trying to figure it out, that doesn't know it will get figured out.
Yeah, of course.
To have the confidence in herself to figure it out, not in anybody else. Sometimes we look to athletes, like whether you're 4 years old or 20 years old, playing, you're always looking for the validation or reassurance of your coach or a parent or a teammate or something.
Or anybody else.
Or anybody.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think once you graduate and you hang the shoes up, there's no more validation. Like life, I was just talking to one of our coaches at Junior Hoop Queens about this while dropping her home, and I was like, you get to figure out, like, life doesn't really have any rules. Really, there's not really any structure after you hang up the shoes. You gotta make your own structure, and you have to figure it out on your own. What works for you and what doesn't work for you. I would tell my 2019-year-old self that you will figure it out. I will give her reassurance that she will figure it out.
Love that.
Yeah.
When it's all said and done,
Yeah.
you're now onto your second life, right?
Oh, my second life.
Yeah. When that's all said and done, what do you want Hoop Queens to be remembered for?
Wow, that's a really great question. These are great questions.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Who created this? The team? Who created these questions?
Me. I'm taking credit for that. Yeah.
When it's all said and done, I want Hoop Queens to be remembered as an organization who revolutionized women's basketball across the world. I want us to be remembered for moving the needle.
Mm-hmm.
And creating opportunities for girls and women on and off the court.
Beautiful. That obviously segues into the WNBA. They're coming here. We got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Hoop Queens is
Let's talk
affiliated with that. How do you feel about the tempo coming? What do you think that's going to do for basketball here, especially for women's basketball?
I love it. Obviously, growing up, our time, we did not have women's basketball, or we couldn't even watch WNBA on
No.
TV. I had to illegally stream. It's an amazing time in the city. It's an amazing time for this generation and for our generation, just to kind of see it through. I'm super excited next summer to go to a game, go to an actual game. I know it's going to be, we had a little teaser obviously when the WNBA Canada games came through, but I'm excited to just bask in the history, because obviously I was alive 1995 when the Raptors came through, but I really want to be a part of this this milestone of women's basketball
Absolutely.
in the world, to be honest, too, like internationally, and being able to say that, you know, Hoop Queens has built a culture, built a community around women's basketball, and we're able to move that needle forward for the WNBA, and they can lean on us for a community, or, you know, if they do events, or if they, you know, do a junior WNBA or whatever events that they're trying to do, they can connect with us. And I'm proud that Hoop Queens has built those opportunities for, you know, the WNBA, and just for girls and women across the city and the world.
I love that. To conclude, we'd like to play a little game.
Okay.
It's called For Three.
Okay, can I put my lip gloss on?
Sure.
Lips are dry.
One word or one sentence. Okay. So, are you ready to play?
Oh God, no. Hold on. One word?
One word or one sentence.
I'm a yapper.
It's gonna be fun though. Don't worry. Question 1.
Okay.
Bucket or assist?
Assist.
Unselfish.
Oh wait, can I ask? Can I add some context or no? No. Okay.
No.
You're good. Okay.
No
Okay.
context. One word. One word to describe where you're at right now.
Ooh, one word.
Like your journey thus far.
Stillness.
That's interesting.
I think right now, you know, we've got Junior Hoop Queens, we've got the professional league, we've got our workshops, we've got things going for us. I think for right now, the stillness that we're in, it's a great thing. And I think being able to pause, reflect, and figure out what our next steps are, whether we're going the investment route or we're going the community route, or if we're going, you know, both, being able to be still and being able to be grateful, and not just, you know, milestone after milestone, we're able to look back and reflect. I think that stillness allows us to do that. So I love that.
That's Hoop Queens. Now you.
Oh, for me, we mean the same thing, kind of. No, I would say a word grateful.
And if fear doesn't exist, what will Keesa do next?
Everything, anything.
Be specific.
If fear doesn't exist, Keesa will take Hoop Queens to the no. Wow, that's a great question. These are not prepared for this.
What's the point?
I know. If fear wasn't a word.
No, if fear is not a thing for you, if you're not scared to try anything, what will you do next?
I would. Can't let you know this one.
That's okay.
I would take Hoop Queens globally.
Okay, we love that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because it takes a lot of courage to go ahead and start something.
Yeah.
It takes even more to see it through and continue to do that.
Yeah.
And that's why, with all the skills and all the things you've learned, like I said, I think it's important to have a corporate job and learn those skills and still follow your passions. You've done both of those things, regardless of where you played and how long. Doesn't matter. That's going to end for everybody one day. But it's what you've done after that that's really impressive. And for women, I mean, my first professional experience with basketball was watching a woman. I saw Becky Hammond play in Madison Square Garden when I was a kid. I was 11 years old. I'll never forget that. Yeah.
You're from New York?
No, my aunt lives in New York, and she took us to a game.
Oh, wow.
No. So my older sister played basketball.
Oh, okay.
I didn't play basketball at the time.
Okay.
But we all, that was the first professional game I've ever been to.
Oh, wow.
So a big advocate for it. And what you're doing, not only is it solving a problem, but it's, like you said, it's changing the narrative. And Keesa's doing that.
Yes.
And I don't want you to forget that. So
Thank you.
Congratulations on all your success, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, Warren.
No doubt.
Great job. Wow. Thanks for having me.
No doubt.
And this is amazing.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be back part 2 soon.
Hey, if you like this podcast, I'm sure you're going to like the other ones. The best way to support is to like, comment, subscribe, and of course, share with a friend. Until next time.